The encounter. The blue-green light of Proxima Centauri filtered through the transparent dome of New Horizon colony, casting everything in a dreamlike glow. Dr. Maya Harrison adjusted the environmental controls in her lab coat pocket, fine-tuning the atmosphere in her section of the community garden. At 35, Maya had already revolutionized xenobotany with her work on cross-pollination between Earth plants and alien flora. But her greatest pride was watching 8-year-old Ellie carefully measure soil nutrients a few meters away. Ellie's pale blonde hair caught the alien sunlight as she concentrated on her task. The contrast between her fair skin and Maya's deep brown complexion often drew curious glances from newcomers to the colony, but most residents knew their story: how Maya had adopted Ellie 4 years ago after the girl's parents, both colleagues of Maya's, had died in a shuttle accident. "Mom, I think the hybrids need more nitrogen," Ellie called out, her small fingers manipulating the soil testing device with practiced ease. Maya smiled at her daughter's precision. At 8, Ellie already showed signs of following in her footsteps, inheriting her adoptive mother's scientific curiosity if not her genetics. "Good observation. Let's adjust the formula," Maya replied, walking over to check Ellie's readings. She knelt beside her daughter, their shoulders touching as they reviewed the data together. These were the moments Maya treasured most: teaching, nurturing, watching understanding light up her daughter's blue eyes. The garden door hissed open, and Maya glanced up to see Supervisor Vance enter. Caroline Vance had arrived 3 months ago on the latest transport from Earth, quickly securing a position in colony administration thanks to family connections. In her crisp uniform with her auburn hair pulled back severely, she moved through the garden with a clipboard, apparently conducting some kind of inspection. Maya nodded politely but returned her attention to Ellie. They had work to do preparing for tomorrow's experiment, and Maya had learned to minimize her interactions with Vance, whose thinly veiled disdain for many colonists had quickly made her unpopular. "Sector 12 needs more humidity, Mom," Ellie said, pointing to her readings. "The Proxima ferns are showing signs of stress." "You're right. Let's adjust it and document the change," Maya replied, tapping instructions into her tablet. Vance's shadow fell across their work. Maya looked up to find the supervisor staring at them with a frown. "Excuse me," Vance said, her voice sharp. "Children aren't permitted in the research gardens without proper authorization." Maya straightened up. "Ellie has full clearance, Supervisor. She's assisting me with my research." Vance's eyes narrowed as she looked from Maya to Ellie and back again. "And you are?" "Dr. Maya Harrison. I lead the Xenobotany Division." Maya kept her voice even, though irritation flickered through her. After 2 years at New Horizon, most people knew who she was. "And this child is with you because—" Vance's question hung in the air, her implication clear. "Because she's my daughter," Maya stated firmly. Vance's eyebrows rose dramatically. "Your daughter? That's unlikely." Heat rose in Maya's cheeks, but she kept her composure. "Ellie is my adopted daughter, though that's really not relevant to our work here." Ellie edged closer to Maya, sensing the tension. Maya placed a protective hand on her shoulder. "I see," Vance said in a tone that suggested she didn't believe it. "And you have documentation for this arrangement?" "Of course I do. It's filed with Colony Administration, your department actually." Maya took a deep breath. "Now, if you'll excuse us, we have work to complete." Instead of moving on, Vance pulled out her comm device. "I'm going to need to verify this. It's my responsibility to ensure the safety of all colony residents, especially children." Maya stared in disbelief. "Are you serious?" "Mom," Ellie whispered, her voice small. "It's okay, sweetie." Maya squeezed her daughter's shoulder reassuringly, even as anger surged through her. "Supervisor Vance is just doing her job, though she's being extraordinarily thorough." Vance tapped at her device. "I'm contacting security. We'll sort this out properly." "This is completely unnecessary," Maya objected, her professional calm beginning to crack. "You're frightening my daughter for no reason." If everything is as you say, you have nothing to worry about, Vance replied, her tone suggesting the opposite. Maya knelt beside Ellie. Why don't you gather our samples? We'll continue at home. She kept her voice steady, not wanting to alarm her daughter further, but Ellie's wide eyes showed she understood something was wrong. You'll both need to remain here until security arrives, Vance announced. This is ridiculous, Maya said, standing back up. I am a senior researcher with full clearance, and Ellie is my legally adopted daughter. Your behavior is inappropriate and, frankly, suspicious. Other researchers in the garden had noticed the confrontation. Dr. Patel, working nearby, approached with concern. Everything okay, Maya? Supervisor Vance seems to think I've somehow kidnapped my own child, Maya replied, not bothering to hide her anger now. Vance's face flushed. I'm simply following protocol when something seems irregular. Irregular, Dr. Patel repeated, his expression darkening. A child who clearly isn't biologically related to the adult claiming guardianship warrants verification, Vance insisted. It's standard procedure. No, it isn't, Dr. Patel countered. And you know it. The garden door opened again, and 2 security officers entered. Maya recognized Officer Chen immediately. He had helped organize the colony's last heritage celebration, where Maya had shared traditional recipes from her grandmother. What's the situation? Chen asked, his gaze moving between the parties. Vance stepped forward. I found this child with this woman who claims to be her mother. Given the obvious discrepancy, I thought it best to verify. Discrepancy? Maya's voice was sharp now. Just say what you mean, Supervisor Vance. Chen's expression showed recognition and confusion. Dr. Harrison, is there a problem with Ellie? You know them? Vance asked, sounding surprised. Of course, Chen replied. Dr. Harrison is our leading xenobotanist, and Ellie is her daughter. They've been part of the colony for years. But they're not. They don't look. Vance stammered. They don't look related. Chen finished for her, his voice cool. Dr. Harrison adopted Ellie after the Chen Walker tragedy. It's well documented. More colonists had gathered, drawn by the commotion. Maya saw mixtures of confusion and outrage on their faces. Ellie pressed against her side, trembling slightly. I think we need to take this somewhere private, the second security officer suggested, looking uncomfortable. I don't see why, Maya responded. Supervisor Vance felt comfortable questioning my parenthood in public. Why move now? Dr. Harrison, Chen said gently. For Ellie's sake, perhaps. No, Maya cut him off. This is exactly what Ellie needs to see, that when someone treats you unjustly, you stand your ground. She looked down at her daughter. We've done nothing wrong, sweetie. Ellie nodded, her expression serious beyond her years. Vance's comm device chimed. She glanced at it, and her face tightened. I've received verification from Central Records. She didn't elaborate further. Confirming what I told you from the beginning, Maya said, that Ellie is my legally adopted daughter. The second security officer whispered something to Chen, who nodded. Supervisor Vance, a word. They stepped a few meters away for a hushed conversation. Maya could see Vance's posture growing increasingly defensive. Dr. Patel moved closer to Maya and Ellie. Are you two okay? We're fine, Maya said, though her heart was still racing. Just another day of being reminded that some attitudes haven't evolved as much as our technology. Mom, Ellie said quietly, is this because you're black and I'm white? The directness of the question made Maya's heart ache, but she'd always promised honesty with her daughter. Yes, sweetheart. Some people still have trouble understanding that families come in all combinations. That's stupid, Ellie declared with 8-year-old certainty. Maya couldn't help but smile. Yes, it is. Chen returned, his expression grave. Dr. Harrison, I apologize for this situation. Colony Director Zhao has been informed and is on his way. Maya raised her eyebrows. The director himself. This incident requires immediate attention, Chen confirmed. Vance stood rigid, her face flushed. The gathered crowd had grown larger, with whispers rippling through it. In the tense silence that followed, the garden door opened once more. Director Zhao entered, flanked by two aides and, surprisingly, Ambassador Zurax from the Proximan delegation. The tall, blue-skinned figure towered over the humans, their four eyes blinking in sequence as they surveyed the scene. Maya felt a shift in the atmosphere. This had just become much bigger than a confrontation with a prejudiced supervisor. The reckoning. Director Zhao approached the gathered group, his face grave. At 60, Zhao had led the colony since its founding, earning universal respect for his fair-minded leadership. The presence of Ambassador Zurax, representative of Proxima B's native sentient species, elevated the situation to diplomatic significance. Dr. Harrison, Director Zhao acknowledged with a respectful nod before turning to Vance. Supervisor, I understand there's been an incident. Before Vance could respond, Ambassador Zurax stepped forward, their voice a melodious rumble translated through the colony's communication system. I was informed of a disturbance involving Dr. Harrison and young Ellie. As their research directly impacts our cooperation treaty, I chose to accompany you. Maya felt a surge of gratitude toward the ambassador. The Proximans had been strong supporters of her work since she developed methods to grow earth crops that didn't compete with the planet's native flora. Director, I was simply following security protocols, Vance began, her voice tight, when I observed an adult with a child who clearly isn't biologically related. And why was that clarity important to establish? Zhao interrupted, his tone sharp. Vance hesitated. It's unusual. Is it? Zhao looked around at the gathered colonists. New Horizon has over 200 families with adopted children, many cross-cultural. What specifically about Dr. Harrison and Ellie triggered your concern? The crowd grew quiet, waiting for Vance's answer. I didn't recognize them, Vance said weakly. Officer Chen stepped forward, holding his tablet. Director, I've accessed Supervisor Vance's record. This is the 7th incident in 3 months where she's questioned family relationships that don't match her expectations. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Maya felt Ellie's hand tighten in hers. All legitimate security concerns, Vance insisted. All involving multicultural families, Chen countered. And all determined to be unfounded. Ambassador Zurax's upper eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of distress in Proximan body language. On my world, we judge relationships by the harmony they create, not the similarities in appearance. A wise perspective, Ambassador, Joe agreed. One I thought all our colonists shared. He fixed Vance with a stern look. Maya knelt beside Ellie. Are you okay? She whispered. Ellie nodded. I'm not scared anymore, just angry. Maya smiled despite herself. Her daughter had always possessed remarkable clarity. Me too. Director Zhao addressed the crowd. For those who may not be aware, Dr. Harrison is not only Ellie's legal guardian, but one of our most valuable scientists. Her work on sustainable agriculture has been crucial to our survival here. The Proximan Council considers Dr. Harrison a bridge builder between our peoples, Ambassador Zurax added. Her respect for our ecosystems while finding ways for humans to thrive here exemplifies the best of your species. Maya felt a blush rising. She hadn't expected this public affirmation of her work. Zhao turned back to Vance. Supervisor, my office has already received 3 formal complaints about your conduct toward diverse families. I've been monitoring the situation, hoping you would adjust to our colony's values. This incident demonstrates you have not. Director, I was only enforcing your personal biases under the guise of security. Zhao finished for her. That ends today. A tall woman with silver-streaked hair pushed through the crowd. Maya recognized Dr. Eleanor Chen, Ellie's biological grandmother and the colony's chief medical officer. She had been off-world at a conference when her son and daughter-in-law died, but had returned to support Maya's adoption of her granddaughter. I received an alert, Dr. Chen said, her eyes finding Ellie immediately. She smiled at her granddaughter before turning a cold gaze on Vance. You question my granddaughter's family. Vance shifted uncomfortably. Dr. Chen, I didn't realize that Ellie has an extensive family here who love her. That we all support Maya as her mother. Dr. Chen's voice was ice. Or did you simply see skin color and make assumptions? I think we've established what happened, Director Zhao said. The question now is how we proceed. Officer Chen cleared his throat. Director, given the pattern of behavior, this qualifies as harassment under colony regulations, specifically Section 4.3 regarding discriminatory conduct. Zhao nodded. Supervisor Vance, you are suspended from duty pending a full review. Please surrender your access credentials to Officer Chen. Vance's face paled. You can't. I can and have, Zhao stated firmly. New Horizon was founded on principles of inclusivity and cooperation. Those who cannot uphold these values cannot serve in positions of authority here. The crowd's murmur turned approving. Maya felt a complex mix of emotions. Vindication, yes, but also weariness. This wasn't the first time she'd faced such prejudice, and she doubted it would be the last. Vance, her face flushed with humiliation, removed her credential badge and handed it to Officer Chen. Without another word, she pushed through the crowd and left the garden. Dr. Harrison, Zhao said, turning to Maya. On behalf of Colony Administration, I apologize for this incident. Thank you, Director, Maya replied. But this isn't just about me and Ellie. This is about ensuring every family in the colony feels secure, regardless of how they look. Agreed, Zhao said. I'll be reviewing all of Supervisor Vance's decisions and interactions. Ambassador Zurak stepped forward, their 4 eyes focused on Ellie. Yum one on Proxima. We have a saying. The strongest bonds are chosen, not given. Your mother has chosen you, and you her. That is a powerful thing. Ellie looked up at the towering blue figure without fear. On Earth, we say family is who loves you. It means the same thing, I think. The ambassador's mouthparts curved in what Maya recognized as a smile. Indeed it does. Wisdom crosses species, it seems. The crowd began to disperse now that the drama had concluded. Dr. Chen approached, giving her granddaughter a warm hug before embracing Maya as well. You handled that wonderfully, she said quietly. Lee and Sarah would be proud of how you're raising their daughter. Tears glistened in her eyes. How you're raising our daughter. Maya felt her own eyes growing damp. Thank you, Eleanor. That means everything. Director Zhao addressed them again. Dr. Harrison, take the rest of the day off. I've authorized special access to the recreation dome for you and Ellie. The new Earth Garden opened yesterday. That's not necessary, Maya began, but Ellie tugged at her sleeve. Can we go, Mom? Please, I want to see the sunflowers. Looking at her daughter's hopeful face, Maya relented. Of course we can. As they prepared to leave, Dr. Patel approached. Maya, many of us are gathering tonight at the community hall. We want to discuss how to prevent incidents like this in the future. I'll be there, Maya promised. Ambassador Zurax inclined their head. The Proximan Council would also like to be represented in these discussions. Understanding and respecting difference is essential to true cooperation. Director Zhao nodded. 1900 hours at the main hall. I'll make it an official colony forum. As Maya and Ellie walked hand in hand toward the recreation dome, they passed several colonists who offered smiles and words of support. New Horizon wasn't perfect, Maya reflected, but it was a community willing to face its flaws and grow. Mom, Ellie asked as they approached the recreation dome. Do you think Supervisor Vance will learn to be better? Maya considered the question carefully. I hope so, sweetheart. Sometimes when people face consequences for their actions, it helps them understand why change is necessary. Like when you make me think about why my behavior was wrong instead of just punishing me. Maya smiled at her daughter's insight. Exactly like that. The goal isn't punishment, it's growth. The doors to the recreation dome slid open, revealing an expansive space designed to mimic an Earth park. Simulated sunlight streamed down on trees, flower beds, and green lawns. In the distance, a field of sunflowers turned their faces toward the artificial light. Ellie's eyes widened with delight. She tugged Maya forward, eager to explore. Maya let herself be pulled along, her heart full. They had faced ugliness today, but here was beauty, both in the flowers before them and in the bond they shared that no prejudice could diminish. As they reached the sunflowers, Ellie looked up at her mother. "We're okay, right, Mom?" Maya knelt and wrapped her arms around her daughter. "We're more than okay, Ellie. We're family." The artificial sun warmed their faces as they stood together among the sunflowers, two very different people who had found in each other exactly what they needed: love that transcended appearance, biology, and the small minds that couldn't comprehend its power. In the garden of human possibility, they were the most beautiful growth of all.